Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. And welcome to Speed Gaming 2. We have, for your pleasure, your delight, your fright, hard Randomizer tonight. And I am part of a incredibly handsome, incredibly intelligent, incredibly devious, all related to the delight of my co-caster. And please introduce yourself.
Oh, hello there. I somehow wound up in the booth tonight with a Mr. Zaphical. I am Drossi. We are going to be guiding you through this Randomizer race that has just gotten underway as Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna finds a cane of Samaria in the sanctuary.
And Randomizer is one of my favorite because it turns the entire world topsy-turvy. Where there are once Pokies, there are now Popos, and everything else is sort of flipped. Bosses are moved around. Nothing is where it ought to be. And yeah.
Right, the only thing we know about bosses is that no boss can appear more than twice, and every boss appears at least once. And we did get a map check from Scruff. Pendant Desert and regular crystals in Eastern Anhara. Ooh, and that is a nice tree pull, getting bombs right off the bat.
Which means that Karma will probably also get even more bombs, which this is as his teammate, I am one part of the Crystal Roller crew. Normally he enjoys a dive into escape, but he's actually abandoning this in favor of something more sane tonight, thank you, my brother in Trinex. And then tracking type, we actually have Windfox, who is a member of the Farm Friends, who is a team whose asyncs I have struggled and played against so many times. And it's just a delight to be here. It's a delight to be silly on Comsy. We've been meaning to do this for a very long time.
Yes, it's hard to work out schedules sometimes.
Schedules, games, you being literally across the world. Either way.
I'm sitting in the comfort of my dining room.
For once.
Okay, yeah, there's Karma's tree pull, as we expected. Apart from that Samaria, we haven't really found anything interesting, but that is one interesting item, of course. Scruff has Samaria but no magic bar, and Karma has magic bar but no Samaria,
So, in CAC, this would probably not really matter much, but there's going to be one potential gotcha, which I love. I really loved it in Co-op Randomizer, which is the Chicken Hut, because now your 4 cuckoos can be anything.
Oh, I always forget about that.
It's so fun.
I'm sure it is when they're all red guards, and as we know, yeah. Red guards just want to be your friend and don't respect personal space in the process.
Right.
But there was a lamp in Blind's hut.
Right, so no dealing with any sort of fun surprises in the dark, such as the floating skulls. We'll be able to see where we're going, which is nice, and yeah.
And the back of Blind's hut conveniently gave us bottle vendor money, which we will now blow on the bottle vendor after we do the well.
I am personally just honestly relieved that my teammate is doing something sane for once, so this is truly a delight.
Ooh, and a real weapon, a bow, sitting in the well. That can be useful against a number of enemies.
I mean, theoretically, we're already at a point where we can go and potentially clear a normal Eastern. That being said, if, this is shuffled bosses, that may change some things a little bit. But theoretically, we could also fight a Helmasaur as well. So yeah.
If you want to do it with bombs.
I think both of these runners are probably good enough to do so, and Bottle Vendor just being reminding you that not everything is fair in Hyrule, exchanging 100 for 20 rupees. Hello, our first surprise.
Wow. Multiple
but
thieves in Chicken Hut.
There's only 3 things on the screen. We're missing one, right? So where's
well, probably is the other one maybe under the pot? I don't know.
You know what? We'll just take a moderately obnoxious but otherwise safe Chicken Hut.
Oh, right. Thieves are guaranteed killable in this mode.
Oh, yeah.
Fire Rod. So we're getting a few bosses that we could kill in Eastern. We probably don't want to rush Eastern quite yet, unless we can ideally find like a sword or a hammer, but Eastern is definitely on the table.
I mean, honestly, theoretically, both these runs again, like depending on what the kill room is, that's where there is some potential. Like, I suspect that they'll both just follow standard routing. And again, so the other thing, this talk about Randomizer, we've actually kind of glossed over the fact this is also hard, which means that our runners are capped on certain things. So they are going to be stuck on green mail, 3 swords max, 14 hearts max. So, the usual. The NMG experience, which is the only time I say those 3 letters on this restream.
And no silvers.
And no silvers.
The silvers were left in scenic Ohio by someone irresponsible.
How could anyone be in Ohio? Scruff saying, you know what, Eastern is a crystal, I'm doing it. And again,
Wow.
I think this is fair. I think this is completely fine. Like, there's a theoretical world where you have a handful of things that you could potentially kill. There are also things you could not kill. I'm also a bit sad we also didn't see a fish on the way to cash.
So has Karma still not been to Sanctuary? That's just kind of surprising.
No, Karma sank started, right? Or he save and quit after.
So does he have Samaria? I just haven't seen it on him.
Karma Sanctuary. I was like, I think pretty after Uncle, yeah. So he should have it.
So he does have Samaria, and we got the red meringue out of Sa's hut. That can be useful on Armos Knights too if we didn't have the bow, except we have the bow. And wow, these shadow guys with a bow, that's something. But Karma takes them down. What's the official name of that enemy? I just think of them as shadow guys.
You are not asking the right person for official names of anything in this game.
Oh, by the way, that's Aga Access. Just sitting there in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Karma go to Aga, Karma go to Aga, let's go!
That would be quite the play. 3-heart Aga Tower Randomizer.
I don't suspect he'll do it, but
Well, he just took a pokey death.
Yeah, this is the problem with 3 hearts anything in Randomizer, where suddenly your world is turned to Topsy and Turpy.
But the flip side is, of course, Scruff would be better off if he had done Mini Moldorm Cave before going to Eastern.
Right. So there's a lovely possibility where the boss here is going to be Cold Stare. Another thing too, and we've been sort of talking about fun things. What's really cool about Randomizer, which if you've never played the mode, you're probably better off for your sanity, but the compass actually does something different. Dross, could you tell us what it does?
Yes. Once you acquire the compass for a dungeon, if you hit that little X button and check the little map, it will give you a little icon of who the boss of the dungeon is. So you don't have to go all the way to the boss before you find that it's something you can't beat. On the other hand, the boss can still hold the compass, so then, well.
Yeah, according to chat, they're called Babusu, and if that is even how you pronounce that. And yeah, they're going to be shadow guys until the day I stop playing Randomizer.
I mean, given Japanese transliteration, that could just be Babs, right?
Huh.
Maybe they're all named Barbara, what do I know?
I have no idea. So glad that my teammate has a sword. By the way, I will do my best to be as impartial as humanly possible, which I probably will not be able to.
And there's Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's first sword, which is going to be IB Karma's third sword inside of 10 minutes.
That's a delight.
And that's a lot of crystal rollers. I mean, your team is the crystal roller crew, so Karma has to get through there, right?
Karma will not be getting through there. I'm gonna be real with everyone in chat today. Karma's going to walk into that room and die.
Nothing like making all the Ropas turn into crystal rollers.
That's a thing of beauty.
That's always the gem of, an Randomizer seed when you get a room like that.
So, in a lot of the seeds that were rolled for the playoff asyncs, it tended to be that there was a theme, right? Like some seeds would feel like the pokey seed, right? Like everything would be replaced with the pokey and something else. This is going to be the crystal roller seed. Literally everything will be crystal rollers. I'm loving it.
PRNG at its finest.
Yeah, PRNG is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Complete confidence in my teammate. You're absolutely right. I do up until I don't, and this is going to be a case where I do not.
Hey, Karma skipped the dam earlier, and Scruff just found a glove in it.
Yeah, so the way that this would probably have routed out, and I totally feel this, is that it would be a mini Moldorm cave over to Ice Rod Cave, and then dam potentially to Agina. After seeing the Crystal Roller fiasco, I do like the pivot, but yeah, it is unfortunate that he did waylay himself a bit.
So here Karma goes into what we know is a massively Crystal Roller room.
This is a death pit. I'm a huge fan of it. 3, 2...
He managed to tank a hit. Gets the key. Wow. That extra heart container really helped.
That was it. That was beautiful. So yeah, Crystal Rollers apparently do 3. They do 3 hearts of damage, and now to see if he lives another room. Get wrecked. Okay, look. It's also I have complete faith in my teammate. He'll give me a talking to afterwards, but there are still 2 more rooms.
Meanwhile, Scruff has made it further on the south shore than Karma did. Let's see if he can survive all the way to Ice Rod Cave here. Oh boy, that's a lot of guards. Wow.
And the most dangerous thing there is actually the crab.
Yes, that'll do 2 hearts of damage. But with full health, Karma goes in to face blind, and Scruff finds the hammer, so this is actually not an Agaseed unless there's something on Lumberjack.
So this will be interesting, how fast Karma retraces his steps, which...
Yeah.
And this is a rough fight.
Yeah, 4-heart blind fight. Okay, he's gonna use some Arya strats, always fun.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 hit from taking blind down, he takes the death.
It's okay. That is a very hard fight to do off script, and he was doing well with the sword beam, so yeah, unfortunately took something in the face.
But here's our Dark World map.
And we're going upstairs to Dark World.
I saw 5-6 crystals on Swamp and Ice. I missed the pendants.
I think I saw a pendant on Skull Woods, and I think Thieves Town also, so...
Yeah, Thieves Town we already knew from Scruff talking to Saha.
That's right.
His green pendant, and yeah. Oh, and hey, Hype Cave's a bit hype. We just got Titan's Mitts in it. And a shovel, which we can then just go right over and check. Heck, with those Titan's Mitts, we'll just probably go to Village this way.
Well, we would need to have a mirror. But we'll eventually get the shovel check, maybe, hopefully.
Oh, right. Yes, mirror would help.
Mirror would help, potentially.
Meanwhile, Karma doing the front of Escape here. He still doesn't have that glove for the back of Escape. Oh, trying to avoid that roller and goes right off the deep end.
This is already just...
While Scruff also takes death there.
So this is Randomizer at its finest, and I'm air quoting at this point because it is it's chaos. It's pure, unadulterated, frightful, and delightful chaos. I do just wish that my teammate would manage to find his way back to the items, but...
Hey, that is a lot of guards there in the back of Escape. And Flippers. Scruff making all the right checks so far.
Yeah, we're we're already getting fairly close to the, hey, what things do we need, right? So we obviously need to get to Myers. We're looking for a flute, mirror for Swamp, and then we just have to deal with the medallion roulette. But yeah, this is fairly front-loaded, so it's going to be a matter of, are we going to find any sort of safeties to deal with?
Yeah, we do also need a hook shot for Swamp.
Right, of course.
And, yeah, let's see. Might not need boots, though. You'd hate to see a bootsless seed.
Oh, you say hate, and I say love. I have no love for that item.
And now Scruff finally makes it to Uncle Tunnel and gets that heart container. He should be able to survive a bit better with 4 hearts than with 3. As Karma approaches the back of escape from the front.
Right, which we know this is going to be a key.
Right, process of elimination.
Process of elimination. And Scruff coming back for magic. Interesting.
Yeah, so with this start, is Scruff gonna check that shovel? No.
Interesting.
Looks like he's having another go at Eastern? No, he's doing the flippers checks now that he got the flippers. That makes sense. Oh. And Karma takes another death trying to get to the back of escape, but as we know, if he just goes to the dam and gets his glove, he can hit the back of escape from the front. Unfortunately, he's stubbornly trying to go through the sewers.
He has taken some really unfortunate deaths right before items, and it's hard because the game has theoretically given you the ammunition to do a lot of different things, and you would not want to potentially leave behind any of the pieces in the back here. Unfortunately, again, we know from our eyes in the sky where all of the items are, which is a little bit unfortunate, but...
I mean, Karma will appreciate the flippers once he gets them.
I will not appreciate him getting the flippers.
Why is that?
Because it's going to send him away from the rest of the items that I want to get Drosy.
Well, I mean, maybe that'll help him get back to Ice Rod Cave and get his hammer.
I think so. I mean, you know, the seed is going to probably point you direction. However, there's a world where Karma has to abandon all hope you enter here and goes to Hanga Tower, which again would be a oof. You know, unless, of course, because I don't think we actually saw a lumberjack check by either runner, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I don't believe we have checked lumberjack.
So there could be something. That could be fortuitous, but let's be honest.
Okay, what's on Zora Ledge? $300, but we have Zora money anyway.
Right.
Maybe grab the $300 so that we can enter pod and don't have to worry about money for it.
Yeah, that would be pod money, 100%. I would suspect. And potion money, because boy howdy, I would love to have any sort of... Yeah,
if you can find a bottle or two.
Right. Karma, where are you going now?
Just a reminder that this is only hard item pool, not hard item functionality, so if you can fill up a bottle, it does do its normal thing. And you still have access to all 4 bottles and everything. But yeah, so Mushroom is definitely an intriguing Zora reward. Maybe a ripoff, maybe something good. I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. No, I'm thinking where Scruff is heading out to. Gonna run to Mushroom, possibly, or take a whirlpool back to... I suspect it's the Mushroom. Yeah, Windfox is saying it. So I suspect it's probably the case. It'd be a very aggressive Ice Palace, though, if so.
Well, here's the Ice Palace play.
Oh, I am so excited for this aggression. I also, Karma, please go to Ice Rod Cave.
Tabby was saying in chat, his teammate Tabby Cat was saying that this is Scruff's favorite dungeon, so here we are.
I have strong feelings if this is your favorite dungeon, but hey. Karma, no!
I mean, he's got a glove and a hammer. He can get to the boss. He's got Samaria. He can do Icebreaker.
No, I mean he has look, he has all the pieces. If this was not Randomizer.
Right. We could see an Argus down there or a
We could
Trinex.
see a Trinex. We could see all sorts of delightful things.
And it's actually Mothula as we
Okay,
get the
well,
compass in the compass room.
my fantasies of horror are brought short quite quickly.
The early tempered sword is going to come in handy here because Lionels are actually vulnerable to the tempered sword, except that Scruff is now on half a heart, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, Vanilla Compass. Ooh, and Scruff is going to fake powder here. He just used down his magic, so he can use that mushroom to fake powder the anti-fairy that sits under that block, and there we go. Oh, and the Hinox gets to him before he can get the anti-fairy. And he has to leave because now that he's out of magic, he can't get past the Freezor in the first room. Okay, Karma having another go at South Shore here. Let's see if he can finally get that glove and that hammer.
So he'll get the glove. I wonder if Ice Rod Cave is quite dead to Karma for a while, which is going to be incredibly unfortunate.
Nope, I was wrong. Karma is turning in the mushroom.
Yeah, our runners, to our delight, are doing the exact opposite of what we think they're doing, which is, again, why they are the power players, and I do not sit on this pendant.
Oh, there's a Chain Chomp in Skull Woods.
I like how casually you say that. Like, oh, there's just a Chain Chomp, right? Like you are in one-hit KO range, and that to you is just...
And the mushroom is just $50, so Zora is a 90% ripoff today, and Karma's safe scumming that mushroom so that he can potentially fake powder.
So Scruff doing the thing which I will always say is just this is basically slow but overworld checks for Skullwoods, which is perfectly reasonable.
And there's our first bottle, finally. So, you know, maybe we can stock potions, which is really nice in Randomizer. And looks like Landmo is the boss of Skullwoods today.
The thing that you probably don't want to see if you're a runner is very easily completable bosses in the places you don't have to go.
Yeah, it is a pendant dungeon, so we don't necessarily want to go back there.
But if I'm a runner, I want to see the single Trinex in Desert Palace and potentially never have to go back.
Now that said, I haven't been counting items.
Admittedly, I haven't either. I also can't count.
Oh, right. We got the bottle. That's one item.
Right.
I can't imagine we got the second item, or Scruff would be out by now.
So we also have 2 keys, right? Because we use a key as well, so...
Vanilla Big Key, of course. Hey, there's Bombos in Aegina's cave. That could come in handy.
Drosy, one day you and I'll have a reckoning on your pronunciation of that word.
Aegina?
Yeah, that...
Don't you read Japanese?
I do. I have no idea how it's actually, like, spelled out. It's just,
Yeah, it's spelled... That's how it's spelled in Japanese with it.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I refuse to admit that.
Yeah, I called it a Gina until I saw that the Japanese spelling was with a J, so I don't know why they used a G in English. I guess it looks nicer.
This is karma, yes.
So, is Scruff doing a boss rush here? He didn't go back to check the big key, and he didn't check the bridge chest. Or do they... wait. Now I'm trying to count small keys. Maybe we've only gotten one small key, and so both of those need to be small keys?
One of those has to be small keys. I thought we've seen. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you're right. We've seen one item and two small keys, and the big key and the compass. I don't think we've seen the map yet.
Right, and of course in this dungeon you have to have the third small key, so at least one of those is a small key. So it's possible that this is...
This could be the map.
This could be the map, yeah. I'm not reading chat. Chat is...
Nope, but it's a second item, so there we go.
Beautiful.
Complete junk.
Scruff being incredibly prescient and knowing that there was an item on the boss.
Karma's found his way to Hype Cave. He will get his mitts.
I can breathe a sigh of relief for about 30 seconds.
As you were saying earlier, Mirror is one of the big items that we still need, and would really help getting around the map.
If I'm Karma, which I don't ever want to think like routing like him, he may just book it to pod here. And I say
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's his map check. He's seriously considering pod, I think. Yep, here we go.
I've been around this man too much. I know how he thinks, which is honestly horrific for me. But yeah, I mean, this makes sense. There's a lot of density here. It's a crystal. Of course, again, like we said, these bosses could be shuffled. It could be really anything here. But the world is kind of our oyster, so it does kind of behoove you just to try and get to some density, get to some dungeons.
Oyster.
Okay. I will need a food break, Darasi, and that's not fair. You'll be solo calming if you keep that up, which is probably for the betterment of most things.
There was a fire shield on Pyramid Ledge. In Randomizer, you might actually think about picking that up, but Karma didn't want it.
I would strongly consider it.
And meanwhile, Scruff did find the Cane of Burna in C-shaped house. Nice to have an invincibility item, especially since we're still on 4 heart containers.
Right. Yeah, and seeing as though we are in Greenmelt, we see another thing which puts us in 100% Oko range. Scruff finding the flute, which that's a delight.
Yes, I know you were hoping for that. Still don't have the mirror to activate the flute without a save and quit.
Look, my impartial take is I'm glad we're finding items. My partial take is Scruff start going independent dungeons and waste a lot of time, but I shouldn't be saying that on Restream. That being said, this is good. I mean, like, you know, we are going to potentially see the front of Thieves Town 2, which is actually sort of a contentious read/set of checks in Randomizer, because normally in Thieves Town you have to go to the back, you bring the maiden up, who is disguised, yada yada. Here, you just walk into the room and you fight a boss. The Thieves Town is green pendant, not a crystal though, but still something to consider. Scruff will have to go back to Eastern, so this is actually sort of maybe convenient in the sense that, like, you know, Scruff will waddle this check back. I assume Goombas waddle. And he'll turn this in while going to beat his blind and thieves at some point.
Small key in front of Thieves, which means we're not going to get too many items in the front.
Right.
But do you really want to go to the back of Pendant Thieves? Like, everyone's going to do the front 4.
I hope Scruff does and finds something like pieces of heart or arrows.
You're not biased at all.
I do not claim any impartiality tonight. Like, Goombas do kind of waddle, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
Oh, we got our second bottle. Definitely when you go activate the flute, you want to combine that with Sick Kid. And honestly, maybe even fake powder magic bat when you're back in CAC.
Those are a lot of words which I don't like in a row, but yes. Yeah, I think most people would probably still end up doing the boss here anyway, because one, you can just walk into it, and if it's something you can kill, again, it's information, it's knowledge, which is actually really important in this mode. It is killable yet again. Ooh, karma. Dealing with a particularly nasty set of things there.
That was a nice quick kill, but just for the map.
Yep.
So what do we have? 2 items in the back? Yeah, 2 items. Because we got a heart container and a
big key, small
bottle.
Key, yeah, bottle.
But hey, Scruff's lining him up in good position to pull Ped someday.
Yes, pull Ped, Scruff.
I mean, maybe Ped makes things go boom so many times.
Oh, wow. We're just...
Sorry.
Too soon? I appreciate that, but I have a different take. But yeah, too soon, potentially.
Well, I could use the Gilbert Gottfried solution of what happens when you tell a joke too soon and start telling the aristocrats instead, but I think I'd get kicked off SpeedGaming for that.
If you got banned from SpeedGaming before I did, I think there would probably be a riot. And honestly, a miracle of some sort.
Anywho, there's the free duck on Scruff's side. He is heading over to Sick Kid. We will see what a bottle gets us today.
Yeah, this I suspect also probably going to Meyer and checking Medallion 2, which is going to be a...
Wow, full open heart surgery. And Scruff is not doing fake powder of magic bat. That's a bit surprising since he's right there. I guess he doesn't want to blow through his magic again.
Right. It could be like a resource thing. It could be anything. I suspect it's probably just the resources and having to deal with that. And potentially, if there's a cold stare, he probably wants to conserve magic.
But yeah, Scruff now with 6 hearts should be in a bit better position for getting to the boss and surviving the boss. Oh yeah, especially with that Cane of Burna and full magic, that'll be great for blind.
Right. Yeah, my teammate finding all the items in the wrong order. This room will be interesting for Karma. This room will be interesting for Karma, he says.
Fortunately, those barriers do block fireballs from Lionel.
A heart container! Health! Karma's life flashed before my eyes there. We do not know what Pod Boss is because my teammate has not hit the X button.
It is Trinex. We are not going to the boss.
Vile.
Oh, I was just thinking, is Karma maybe going to the mountain now with this start? Or is he just going to go to CAC Portal?
It wouldn't get you much. It is the old man save and quit, which admittedly, like, it would be fine to do, but I suspect he's probably just going to do Vu area now.
Meanwhile, Scruff is in the room before blind if he can get past all these guards and moblins and stuff.
Scruff is in a much better position just with the extra health, the full magic bar, and the Cane of Burna, so...
Yeah, and he has that cane at the ready.
Right. The second this gets out of hand, you do that, you run around for a bit. And a runner of Scruff's caliber can pretty easily just dodge.
And down goes blind. This will be our first crystal of the game at 34 minutes. I wonder how Karma's gonna play Skullwoods. Is he just gonna go straight to the boss?
If I know my teammate, he will probably not rush the boss, but he's literally done a lot of things that I wouldn't suspect him to do.
Ooh! I forgot this, that Thieves' Town was actually the green pendant, so we're getting the green pendant turn-in now.
Yeah.
And it looks like Scruff is now going to do the pod play.
Yep.
As Karma gets grabbed by the wall. Okay, that was intentional. Got it.
Yeah, this was to get the key. I suspect this is going to be the front. I don't think he'll go the back for one item. He probably doesn't feel that great right now with a lot of the early deaths and kind of everything, so he may try and play a little bit more fast and loose.
But while these runners are going over each other's steps, let's talk about how they got here and their playoff experience, because both of these runners have been in the league for quite a few seasons at this point. I was looking this up. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, this is his 4th season in the league and first ever playoff match in that time.
Wow.
His team has had multiple near misses with almost making playoffs, but not quite. This year, not only did they do it, they got a bye, so Farm Friends got to sit out the last couple of weeks and just chill.
And a particularly chaotic division, if I might add, as well.
Yes, definitely. Karma, meanwhile, formerly with Dark Side of the Triforce, has been to the playoffs each of his 3 seasons in League, but this season was his first playoff win. And first time getting out of his first round.
Yeah, and we had a particularly crazy week 1 where Karma actually went 2-0 in both of the matches he played, and Ambrosia and a hard MC Shuffle, both of which were chaotic, to say the least.
Oh yeah, and we should also mention that Scruff was the one who picked this mode.
Right, so yes, the way for those who are just sort of tuning in on us in the playoff, there are five game playoffs, best of 5. The higher seed, which in this case are the Farm Friends, get to pick the mode for the power player. And also to probably explain that a little bit, each player is designated with a particular pendant. Courage, Wisdom, and Power. The Power players are the ones that just get the leftover modes. They get the modes that no one else wants to play, such as Hard Randomizer. And for that, it is Randomizer, Hard MC Shuffle, Ambrosia, so on and so forth, right? But the higher seed gets to pick the first mode. And if you get to a game 4, then the lower seed gets to counterpick a mode.
Which can't be the same as the mode that was picked by the higher seed.
In addition, it doesn't have to be the same players for Game 4 either, which does lead to some interesting things.
Right, teams can pick whoever for Game 4, but then if it goes to Game 5, which is a Retrance co-op, you have to use all the players who weren't in Game 4.
Yes. Which, in this case, we've kept Karma off entrance because we want to minimize the amount of thinking he has to do, so it'll be myself and Arm if we make it to a Game 5. No, it's very kind. Okay. That is not a slight against Karma. Karma's already had a lot to do. He kind of had to wrangle me and do a lot of the fun co-op stuff. I'm trying to make his life easier.
He's been carrying you all season.
Okay, well, we didn't have to say that out loud, but yes. Truthfully, yes. No, but Karma's actually a fantastic mystery player as well. So this was a situation where he got to do Karma, don't forget you a burner. he got to do things that he really enjoyed, and I think a lot of it was getting comfort for myself and Arm since it was our first season in League, which is really hard because we're up against a lot of really veteran teams, like, for instance, the Farm Friends, who have a lot of sort of experience and exposure to racing, so it really helped. He was, I mean, to put it fantastically, he was a really good resource in terms of just, like, getting used to the modes and playing around, so yeah.
Okay, so this will save Karma some time, potentially. He did not go to the boss. He's not getting his green pendant, which we know is worthless. Oh, is this going to be our first look at the digging game? I don't think Scruff did it.
Right, and Karma walked by the flute?
I thought he got the flute before he went into Thieves'
Okay,
Town.
he might have gotten the flute before. I'm looking at, I apologize, I'm like believing in the tracker more than anything because we have been waxing poetic about, oh my good gravy.
So Karma's up 2 medallions to nothing.
All right, we're winning the medallion race. I don't think it'll be very difficult for Scruff to get to either of them, to be fair, but small wins where I can take them. And thank you, Chad. I apologize. WinFox is doing the hard work, so I don't have to, and I appreciate all of the trackers that do things. Okay, so both of them are actually going to reset away the mushroom, which makes sense.
Ooh, and Karma is going to give us Jeremiah's World Tour. I haven't seen one of these in a while.
Karma, please, my brother in Helmasaur, remember that you cannot take this delightful frog into caves. Certain caves.
Oh, now we don't need the World Tour. Wow, Stumpy's been sitting on the mirror all along. If Scruff had just gone that way after Hype Cave, he would have had the mirror a while ago. He will need to get to Stumpy.
Hallelujah. I'll take these small victories where I can get them.
And, Karma's not even gonna walk back to Village to Mirror to Cack. He's just gonna save and quit to Sank. Okay. Either way, we activate the flute. Maybe he'll fake Powder Magic Bat, especially since he's going to return the Smith and will be right there. Right.
I was trying to think if there's a reason not to just walk back. Counting screens, I think it's about the same, but it feels like that was a little bit of a shorter walk. Potentially not. Mind DM, I just emulate greatness. That's all I do.
Scruff making good use of that Cane of Burn on his return trip to Ice Palace. He's now full health, 9 heart containers as he comes through here. Not half a heart.
Right. We don't have anything in that other bottle, correct? That was a red goo and a...
Yeah, we haven't put anything in it. Oh, and there's the hook shot in Ice Palace. That is a useful find. We're getting really close to go mode. We will, of course, need Ice Rod for the Trinex in Pod. Is that potentially it?
Medallions, possibly boots for the weird edge case of certain keys. But we are... Ice Palace Wall Master is my second favorite thing. Yeah, we're getting dangerously close to critical mass, and the unfortunate thing now is that with Hookshot, there's a world where Scruff Ninja Tuna potentially sees this and goes to the mountain afterwards. There's our powder, by the way. Imagine wasting your magic on.
And in hard Randomizer, powder is worth its weight in gold. Maybe it's gold powder. And Magic Bat gives us a penny for our thoughts. Our thoughts are, it wasn't worth doing Magic Bat.
No, it absolutely was not. Whew, that was a lot of blue suede shoes dodging by Scruff.
Oh, and Karma also realizes, hey, I can do the shovel check.
Right.
Which, again, we have not yet seen from Scruff, though, it kind of would have made sense to have done this when you got the mirror from Stumpy and were right there, but we'll let that slide.
I'll let the trauma of this seed play out in our runner's brains.
How often do you see one runner with all 3 medallions and the other runner doesn't have any?
Right, also, I forgot that we did know this was Mothula from earlier, so my comment about magic was completely nonsensical, so...
So who would you rather be? Scruff up 2 crystals to none, or Karma up 3 medallions to none?
Can I get back to you in about an hour? The reality here is that I like that you suddenly have a lot more freedom. Like, these medallions aren't necessarily in hard-to-get locations, right? But we're also...
Right.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking, do you know what Karma can't do right now?
I would say a lot of things, aside from also getting across the gap in Mire.
Exactly. You do kind of need the hookshot or the boots for that.
Karma getting rewarded with a fire shield for avoiding the other shield earlier, so... Karma, please remember that you don't have this. Karma, please.
Apparently, he's not remembering this. Oh, he just remembered. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could open the door, which does a whole lot of nothing. Karma will have the option soon. Again, we know what Eastern is. I suspect if... Oh, actually, we know that that's go-modable, right? So he doesn't have to go to Eastern. He knows that I can save that for later. So this might actually be to Ice Palace soon enough.
Yep, here's a flute to 8. While Scruff is the first runner to go to the mountain now that he has that hookshot, but he doesn't have the mirror, so he'll have to route the long way around.
Yeah, some very clever routing here. And Joshua82 asks, when does Scruff do North Dark World? And the impartial me says, probably when he realizes he's got a lot open. But that could very well be after a lot of other dungeon clears. The partial me says never. A tantalizing heart container there on Spec Rock as well.
Oh, right, Scruff can't get that. Oh, he's going straight for Spike Cave. Interesting. Fully in logic with Cane of Burna.
Hookshot is in Ice Palace. It is in the H room, if I'm remembering right.
Yep. And I believe Powder was in the big chest?
Yes. See, the love of using medallions when you have them. And Karma is a reasonably huge fan of, like, the rooms that you can just exploit and abuse medallion usage all day, so... Karma, please remember that you have so many things you can do here. Not the least of which is that one. Let's see how horrific this room is. Oh, oh no!
Well, he picked up a heart. Meanwhile, here's our first look at Paradox Cave. Of course, from our perspective for no mode, we're basically in an ice rod hunt.
We are exactly in an ice rod hunt.
Well, you never know. Boots on GT... Big key on GT Torch could require boots.
This is true. And this very well could just be an ice rod that, I mean, it could be buried. It literally could be anywhere at this point, so...
There's the bug net.
Oh, yes, of course, that's... So Karma's gonna come into this next room and have a whole lot of nothing. Karma, please just use the blue goo. Karma!
The Hinox got him before he could even do anything. He didn't have a chance.
That Hinox is 2-0 right now against our runners. That Hinox is piling up victories.
Well, at least Karma's going for it again, so...
Drosy, I have a question.
What?
You were in chat the last time I had a breakdown watching my teammate. Did you just want to inflict a lot of mental... Oh my god, there's the ice rod. Huh! Okay, well...
Where? Floating Island?
That was on Floating Island.
Oh, okay. I guess that is gettable.
That is... Very soon, my teammate will possibly be in some flavor of go mode. But to be fair, right, like, the mirror has to be available to us, so Karma just... Karma, please. Not the least of which for the ice rod as well as for the pals. Yeah. I mean, and these runners have played a lot. Like I said, Scruff had a time, I think, on most every co-op Randomizer async for the league. Karma and I played most of them as well. Like, these runners are familiar with using strategies to get around tough rooms like this, right? Like, knowing your vulnerabilities, knowing what enemies die to what medallions. So,
That was kind of cool. Harapot set up for Scruff. You know, bombing the wall master at the same time and making good use of that bug net, or filet as we like to call it.
Who's we?
We Francophiles.
No.
Oui.
Anyway, horrific French aside, you know, again, I'm at a point where the Scruff is probably about to be up 3 crystals, depending on what's up here, depending on magic situation. One medallion was dig spot, the other one was dig game flip.
But on the flip side of that, Karma is now Ice Rod from Go mode.
Yes. Dig spot was Ether, and I do believe dig game was our Quake. And then Bombos, which I have no idea if we need yet, is an Agina. And you can't make me pronounce it otherwise.
Well, interesting route for Karma here. Is he trying to do, I guess he wants to do,
this is
Ice Tea before he does the big chest?
Yeah. Which, he knows the bomb jump, so this seems like, you know, there are multiple ways to get around this, and theoretically, if he'd gone there, I think he would have found the third item, but alas, again, that we sit here from a privileged position to know this. Yeah, really clean bomb and hammer kill of Helmasaur there. So Scruff is up 3 crystals to none. Alright, Karma, all you have to do is get through this room. Which,
there we go.
Doing that with spikes on ice is horrific.
But at least Mothula's nice and easy when he's not in his vanilla location. And we could potentially powder an anti-fairy, though we're kind of low on magic.
Please don't curse my teammate. Yeah, I don't think you have enough magic for that, right?
Oh, he doesn't want to go into the side room to get magic. Huh.
Yes, Karma has hook. Karma, don't die in this room! Okay, we're good. I hope. I pray. Hinox is playing a very dangerous game for me.
And here's Scruff on Dark Death Mountain, so we will find out shortly what our medallion requirement for Turtle Rock is.
Yeah, so Karma knows two of the dungeons that he's missed are very much, or one of them, at least Eastern, is pretty much a go mode dungeon, so he's hoping to never have to go back for. He's found all the rest of the items in Pod as well, so I suspect this is now going to be the mountain.
You were saying as he flooched to 6?
You know what? I don't know what my teammate does anymore. That's fine. Please just don't be able to try next here. That could be. Who's winning?
Chat.
Chat.
Always chat.
Not our runners.
And Scruff just gets rejected on that last platform that he tried to hookshot to. Oh, and this is great. This little Stalfos head that... Okay, burn the thing. Consume it in flames.
Poor Scruff getting absolutely bullied by this, by the way, which at this point is probably a use burn of the second you can.
There we go. And it's just for some bombs.
Okay, at least I know. So poor Windfox is, again, the two members, two other members of Farm Friends. Tabby Cat is in chat. Windfox is here, muted and tracking. They have to suffer this with us. So, and Quake for both. Oh.
And I should shout out that you and Windfox will in fact be playing each other at 9 p.m. tomorrow.
Right, and to quote Windfox, and I'm air quoting here, I'm not worried about you or that at all, which really is honestly fair. I've seen you too, so. Scruff did not grab that ice rod. Scruff does not have mirror.
Oh, right, that is a bit of a barrier to grabbing ice rod. What was TR Medallion, by the way? I didn't catch it.
Was also Quake.
Oh, so double Quake today. Okay, so Scruff definitely needs to go to dig game, as he has dug up Ether.
Also, Tabby, please don't roll new asyncs. I don't think my heart could handle them. Mirror is on our friend Stumpy.
So Scruff will be in likely go mode once he does Stumpy and dig game. Which he might be doing now? Well, there's one of our two items out of Mire. And Karma going to the cutscene. I'm a little surprised by this decision.
Karma is kind of a full clear player. It doesn't really surprise me. We are about to see Mirror, but my hope is that Scruff stops and then books it to Swamp immediately. My personal hope, you know.
Scruff not happy about that mirror.
Yeah, but he will finish this after all, more than likely, and then be in go mode. Did that bush just spawn a new crystal roller?
It looks like it might have.
Alright, great, cool.
I mean, if they can spawn guards and skulls and stuff, why not spawn crystal rollers?
Yeah, so Scruff is about to be in basically go mode because we do know where the ice rod is, so this will start to be a rush of dungeons.
And Karma will be in go mode as soon as he climbs Death Mountain. Unfortunately, it is possible that Karma might do something like full clear swamp before he climbs Death Mountain.
Yeah, so Karma also doesn't have TR knowledge, so that is something that it doesn't matter realistically. He has all the medallions, so he may not think about it. So he may just be in a full clear sort of mode to get the dungeon done. We do find our second Mahula. That'll be reasonably painless. The rest of Meyer, however, may not be, so...
So yeah, I guess the big question is how quickly does Karma get to the mountain, and how quickly can he go mode dungeons after that? Because Scruff already has a 2 crystal lead, which is about to be a 1 crystal lead.
Well, on the plus side, one of the crystals is fairly easy to do. Like that's not really an issue. But the thing is that Scruff is really up that time. The only thing that could happen is theoretically there's a world where Scruff just doesn't find the boots along the way and starts to go mode things. But I am suspecting, and his teammates can probably corroborate this, that this really won't be a thing. He'll probably do some things along the way. I don't think he'll be so reckless. So it's likely that it is a fairly strong position that Scruff is in at the moment. Yeah, I also suspect Scruff will probably get the ice rod before going into TR.
Yeah, but you want to open it first.
For sure, yeah.
Oh, and Mothula at the top of the map where Karma takes damage on the goo, but he escapes with 1 heart. So those are the only 2 Mothulas we'll see in this. Who was the Hera boss? That was a vanilla Moldorm, right?
No, that was a Helmasaur.
Oh, right now I remember. So we haven't seen a Moldorm yet.
No, we haven't.
Karma, what are you doing?
I suspect trying to flute away?
But he walked back into his portal, and there is Scruff's ice rod. Karma not going to the mountain, unfortunately. Probably a swamp play here.
I mean, in essence, it makes sense. Clear the dungeons you can do.
Yeah.
The reason for this, right, is that Scruff was looking for items. And frankly speaking, the mountain was the densest play available to Scruff. He got the knowledge he needed, and then unfortunately for Karma, Quig was in a very easy position to clean up the loose ends of Scruff's early routing.
But after this, he pretty well has to go to the mountain because he can't finish Pod, and there's no reason to go back to Eastern until you can combine it with Pod.
I am very much inclined to agree with you, however, I do not know what my teammate is thinking right now. Farm friends rejoicing in chat.
Oh, early big key in TR, so this could be a nice go-modable dungeon, depending on the small keys.
Right.
A lot of bosses we haven't seen yet. Biddy, Cold Stare, Argus.
Yeah, we've seen 1 Armos Knights, we've seen 1 Helmasaur, no Argus, like you said, no Vidi, no Cold Stare. So it's, and again, the different arenas can place certain bosses in certain ways, so we may very well see some of these in GT in particularly fun spots.
We've seen a Landmo.
We have seen a Landmo. But yeah, I mean, for Karma's position, this play makes the most sense. It will be unfortunate when I think he goes up and unfortunately, depending on things, he will probably do Hera. He will then walk over and he may accidentally miss peeking Floating Island.
Well, I think the big question is whether he does left side swamp here, because that, unless boots are somehow on left side swamp, that's going to be a total time waste if he does it.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, he's a fairly thorough player. He's looking for an ice rod. It could be anywhere. He doesn't like to skip things, this included, so it's entirely possible that he hoofs it over to left side.
We've gotten 2 items, so at this point you don't do left side, you hope that the dungeon items are just over there.
Right, you hope the dungeon items in the back. If it's one item, he may theoretically, like, there's a world where he could skip it, but I suspect that it really depends on what he finds back here as well.
Yeah. And yeah, the key layout is such that we can completely skip Laser Bridge. And there's the compass. I did not see who the boss was.
It was Cold Stare.
Oh, lovely. And Karma gets trapped in the glitched staircase.
Of course.
Well, that was junk in the big chest. So Swamp's been a whole lot of junk so far.
I mean, we've basically seen most of the items, right? Like, the only thing that we're theoretically missing from the collectibles are book and boots.
And half magic, if you want to call half magic a collectible.
That is a collectible, right? And that, I mean, that is also a safety which will very much benefit our runners for the climb in so many ways. Here's our first Vitreous, by the way.
Fun stuff.
As it turns out, when you don't have the goop, this fight becomes a lot more fun to do.
And we're now starting to get green 20s as items are placed in hard mode. That could have been our silvers, that could have been our butter sword, that could have been a mail upgrade.
So I appreciate the farm friends sending me their panic back and forth chats.
Karma gets the first 2 puffs down. Okay, there's the third.
Ah, that was...
Meanwhile, Scruff going back to face Trinex in pod. Yeah, that was Swamp that Karma just beat.
Yeah, so now... Okay, so Karma's actually avoiding this. Oh, he's going to do... Of course, this will be the big bomb play because these are our 2... these are 5/6 crystals. At this point, please go to the mountain. You beautiful creature, I beg.
Watch him do, like, Catfish and Graveyard Ledge.
Trophy. My heart.
He's allergic to Death Mountain, clearly.
To be fair, he's mostly exhausted the checks. I do suspect at this point that, you know, this is the densest thing. Like, he probably doesn't feel great again, right? Like, so to clue chat in, our Darkwood access was fairly early. We had a Hammer and Ice Rod cave, a Glove and Dam, and then our Mitts and Hype cave. And Karma died several times in the early game to a Blind and Eastern on his way over to Ice Rod cave for the Hammer. So he probably does feel a little bit behind, all things considered, and has been trying to effectively play catch-up. Scruff also took a couple of very unfortunate deaths as well, but The deaths actually did pay off in his favor.
Okay, karma is fluting to 1 here.
Right.
But given the mirror, he will probably do Hera before discovering the ice rod.
Right. Or worse, he does Paradox Cave, comes up the top and goes, "Oh, for the love of God," and then either way, I suspect there will be some things done before peeking that ice rod, which will be good. And there's our good friend. We've known this for a while, but hello, Trinex. Goodbye, Trinex.
Yeah, Scruff really putting on a clinic here. Not gonna do backdoor strats with those spikes, though.
Would be a little bit difficult.
That is crystal number 5 for Scruff.
Yeah, and Scruff is basically going to be on a tear. And I don't think that there's anything that Karma will now do at this point that Scruff won't. So our 2 players will likely be bootsless going into GT in the event that the key is on the torch and they'll both be on a boots hunt. But yeah.
Yeah, because Scruff now gets to go mode swamp here. At least Karma didn't do left side.
Right. I think in the end there was...
No, left. I
Thank
heard
you, Blessing.
that.
Yeah, of course.
As Karma gets grabbed by the Wall Master while trying to Harapot.
Yep. At this point, you probably just take your L's and say, okay, well, my teammate is... And to be fair, all of the various Harapot setups, you just kind of have to time this bomb, just wait.
Yeah, but Scruff did it swaggier bombing the Wall Master at the same time.
Well, I see that my impartiality has spread over to you, Drosy. Oh!
Anywho...
No! This is the best and worst thing about Randomizer is the placement of certain things, and honestly, you know, the runner's ability to react to them as well. Oh god. Now, to be fair, you can just sort of... Yeah.
You'd think Kane could just jump between floors.
God, I wish. That would have made some of this race a little more busted, honestly. But yeah, no. I mean, if Kane could, Kane would. To be fair, I'm already a broken man. I play Randomizer. Like, this should come as no shock to anyone who's interacted with me before.
I don't know, I mean... Cross keys is
Please,
so much
Crossy.
anyone's game. You could beat WinFox and tie the series up.
I certainly hope I do. However, I know that my opponent is formidable. He said as much. He doesn't give a rat's rear parts about me, so that's just wholly fair. But yeah, Karma just getting the mass down reasonably quickly. When you are more than welcome to defend yourself. And yeah, I mean, I suspect that Scruff feels fairly comfortable in his position. I don't think that he's in a need to be looking for any other safeties at this point. Ooh, and then going to Sword Beam strats as well. But again, a lot of
Scruff takes a death, but I think he caught a fairy.
He has a fairy from Hera, actually. So,
which is why the bug net is such an important item in Randomizer.
Drosy, whose side are you on? Karma, look up. Karma, look up. Karma, look up. I beg, my brother in Helmasaur.
Hey, yes, doing a double take, sees it.
Yes,
we're good.
Yes. Okay.
As Scruff takes down Cold Stare, and Karma gets mugged.
Yeah, well, Hyrule's a dangerous place in this economy. They don't call it Death Mountain for nothing. Basement checked? Absolutely not. Actually wasn't keeping track of items either way, but I suspect... Breathe, Zeph, breathe. No, I've been holding my breath a while now. Scruff on his way to dungeon number 7. Karma will very luckily get to do Pod and Eastern in one go and have to reclimb the mountain, so at least be a little bit behind, but yeah, there...
Yeah, that blind death hurt.
To be fair, it wasn't the blind death, right? Like, and I can, you know, a lot of the deaths in the early game, the blind death was probably the one that was maybe a little bit more beneficial than others, theoretically. But actually, I think that some of the...
Yeah, dying on his way to Hammer, for instance.
Dying on his way to Hammer was a little bit more, I think, rough. And then the reality is that finding the items in the order he did meant that he was probably not going to see this Ice Rod. And the reality is with Scruff having to look for the mirror and coming up here for density's sake, this worked out really well, I think, for Scruff. And it's very often you don't want to wish a runner to die, but in some cases it was actually fairly convenient for some things to happen the way they did. But that South Shore death between 2 crystal rollers, a pokey, the bummable zeros, and everything else, it was not friendly.
Hey, sometimes deaths can be remarkably convenient. Like, earlier in the league season, I was calming a match. I forget who Ashdar was facing, maybe Maniacal? And no, they weren't in the same conference. I can't remember, but Ashdar took an unfortunate death, and this led him to do, like, low probability plays because he knew that was his only way of getting back in, and then he found, I think it was the Ice Rod, or some important go mode item on a low probability play, and that won him the race. And he wouldn't have made low probability plays if he hadn't taken the death.
Right, no, absolutely. I think that there is, especially for very skilled runners at that level, and I certainly wouldn't put, like, a lot of people able to make those decisions on the fly, but, like, knowing your outs and your win conditions and evaluating, like, the state of the game is a really important skill, and that's a really good thing to do in that position, so... Yeah, I also forgot that earlier it was a Godmire, so Scruff actually gets to hoof it to the back again on those little Goomba legs.
Yeah, that's the other thing. As I was saying at the time, you know, Scruff went to the trouble of checking cutscene chests, so that... Not Scruff, Karma went to the trouble of checking cutscene chests, so that ate up some time.
I didn't even think about this. The fact that Scruff was able to do Spooky and Randomizer is a little bit of a hee-haw to me. But yeah.
Okay, Scruff on very low health, and he's used his fairy, so he's... Okay, gets Moth down.
Oh, for sure.
And with that, well, that's crystal number 7, so we have a guessing game that involves people spamming numbers in chat.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, these numbers are the number of times they think our players are going to take falls. No, I'm sorry, this is for the location of GT Big Key, which is anywhere from 1 to 22. right? So you can put your guess in chat. You get the grand prize of a whole lot of nothing if you're right. But hey, channel points are channel points. Good luck.
And for these purposes, we do count the torch when it's checked, even though it can't be obtained.
So you're saying the house cheats?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page.
I mean, if Scruff goes to the torch room first, and the big key is sitting on the torch, that's one, and then we go hunting for boots.
It's a very long one, if you will.
Yes.
Okay, fair.
I remember a couple of seasons ago, we had a race where, like, they were in GT in, like, an hour, and then the big key was on the torch, and it was a solid 40 minutes before they got the boots.
I just want to just play a little bit of a sad trombone here for Scruff trying to go butterfly catching, and then his butterfly just running away from him. That was beautiful. I'm really sorry about that, Scruff. I know you wanted to appreciate the scenery, but both fairies just not being kind. So we've also seen 2 Trinexes. No, wait.
Trinaces?
Trinaces. We've only seen one.
We've only seen one.
Oh.
I think Moth's the only duplicate so far.
Yeah, we've seen Moth. Oh, this could be interesting. Could have ourselves an ice Trinex. Not that I would wish that on anyone.
More likely an ice Argus. We still haven't seen an Argus.
Yes, absolutely.
I believe Argus and Moldorm are the only bosses we haven't seen yet.
Yes, I believe that's right. Without the spreadsheet. That spreadsheet is buried. I know it's somewhere in the racing Discord, if I'm not mistaken. Before Big Key and Torch.
Spreadsheet?
I believe it's a spreadsheet which shows the probability of a boss showing up given the other boss's locations. Kind of just like a, yeah.
I haven't seen this.
I remember seeing it because I think it also explained like the very weird possibilities. Whereas a compass and the torch, so okay, no boots in the seed. That's what you runners get.
I mean, watch the boots just be sitting innocently in map chest or something.
The boots are not an innocent item. They've committed atrocities across Hyrule, and they should stand for their crimes. If boots can stand or anything like that.
These boots were made for walking. That's just what they do. One of these days, these boots are going to walk all over you.
I play a mode where there are pretend boots, and the check was number 3, by the way.
That was pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Someone's going to get a really good return on their investment in this prediction.
Congrats, you've won internet points. You can redeem them at your local Chuck E. Cheese's. Tell us what you've won.
Wow, that was like a 62-to-1 payout.
Kind of beautiful.
Scruff finally catches a fairy.
Ah, beautiful. Which, again, I don't blame the runners for taking it. This is, again, hard item pool, so you are on green mail at most 14 hearts. This climb can particularly be deadly, so... Yeah, and the one thing about the climb, too, is that a lot of these kill rooms tend to... You're able to use your medallions reasonably well, right? Like, unfortunately, I think the Hinoxes would only die to Bombos here, and depending on your items, you may or may not want to use your magic, especially because I'm not really sure what's in Scruff's bottle, so this may just be a sort of take it slow, chop them down kind of climb.
Yeah, other than he clearly has a fairy since he just caught one, I don't
Right.
know what else he has.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his magic situation is like, but again, we're sitting in a reasonably good position. Full-ish magic bar. We're not really in any danger. So the worst that could happen would theoretically be a cold stare here, which,
There's the Argus.
and there's
Okay,
our Argus, right? We were
we
bound
get
to see an
everyone.
Argus. Yeah, so
It's got to be Moldorm at the top of the tower. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's extremely likely.
it's very likely because I don't think we saw the desert boss, but we have seen it.
No, and we don't know what's on ice in the basement.
Right.
Oh yeah, and that great little glitch where you don't have to actually do phase 2 of Argus if it's one of the mini bosses in GT.
Which is a really cool thing. Chat fairly different randomizer. I mean, to be fair, I think that there is a lot of nuance actually, I think, in handling those rooms particularly quickly, right? And it's not just kind of hack and slash. And to be fair, I think it was, you had the Ropas, you had other things, but there are really cool ways of dealing with a lot of these rooms, and Scruff handled them particularly well, I think, with little difficulty. So, but this GT could be a little bit more kind. That being said, it could also be far worse. Tabby, saying what I'm thinking, but I'm trying not to vocalize.
Saying stuff we're too genteel to say on comms.
Oh, that is saying something about me, Drossi, which I don't think you actually believe.
No, you're not remotely genteel.
Wow. You're not.
I'm only genteel in my role as a SpeedGaming staff member.
Mm-hmm. Officially genteel.
Yes. Swear like a sailor otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Helma. Okay, interesting. Was not expecting that, so we will never find out how many eyes Moldorm has today. And Scruff takes a Helma fall.
Yeah, the Helma on platforms is very difficult too, because there are positions and the hitbox of the mask are a little bit more interesting to contend with.
Karma takes the wrong pipe. You do kind of want to steal the poke key.
Mind you, I don't know if you've actually showed that card to Drossi, but I do think you should.
Oh, I've seen your card.
Oh. Well. There's a reason I am on my nearly best behavior, and the SpeedGaming swear jar is sitting right next to me.
Oh, Scruff playing it really carefully now. Does not want to take a as soon as I say that. Can't even finish the sentence.
So anyway, if Scruff takes...
Another, 10 falls and Karma's back in it? It's not impossible.
It is very unlikely. Let's...
Ooh, well, he has the fairy.
Yeah. I don't remember, was there an anti-fairy in the basement? Could he actually go and get more if this does actually get dicier?
I did not notice. Though minding I'm pointing out that, Helma just took the best of 5 series, 3-0.
Yeah, honestly, we're both knocked out. Helmasaur advances. This is fine by me. It's Christmas holiday. I don't want to play any more Rando. I think this seed has got a really good record on the runners, if I'm being honest. That Hinox and Ice Palace was 2-0 against the runners as well, so...
Playing this really carefully as Helma's disembodied feet show up on the other side of the screen. Okay, got the mask off. That's the hard part. Gonna use the cape here. 4 hits with Tempered. There we go. As Karma arrives at Vitreous now. So here's crystal number 7 for Karma. As Scruff advances into Aga 2, which of course the Agas are never randomized in Randomizer.
That's because of a flag, right? You couldn't. You can't put them in other rooms?
Yeah, I believe they can only appear in their vanilla rooms.
Okay. Because that would be terrifying and hilarious.
Fun fact, in Swordless Randomizer, Cold Steer can only appear in its vanilla location.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. Wait. Right. Yeah, because...
To use the Bombos tile to break the shell.
Because of the medallion, yeah. I suspect... Well, actually... Well, I'm not about to make work for the devs who do a lot of good work already for the game. I was like, could you just put that in every room? Should be hilarious in their own way. But yeah, no. Right, Scruff dropping into Aga. Or into Ganon, good lord. Dropping Aga. Speaking of putting Aga in weird places.
Well, Karma's gonna get his big key pretty quickly as well.
Yep. Scruff getting a really good a 1-in-1, so I think unsurprising. And
yeah, he's been playing a long time. He knows how to 1-in-1 Tempered Sword. Did you find the arrows in Narnia? I guess they found a better location than Scenic Ohio today.
Oh, stop.
I actually haven't seen that Narnia message before.
I have. It is one of my favorites. Narnia is a great place. Much like Canada, they're both not real, so...
And accessible only through closets.
Right, yes, of course. Closets, customs, it's really all the same.
They begin with C.
They begin with C, you know, whatever. Both horrifying places.
Anywho, we must be getting close on the spin count here.
We probably are. I think Scruff's only been able to get, like, doubles because of having to waddle back and forth again with Torch and trying to be particularly conservative with magic. So
yeah, we never got half magic, but there goes Ganon. Get your GGs in chat, provided Scruff crosses this bridge.
Yeah, well played to Mr. Scruff. Ninja Tuna.
And Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna will finish in first with an official race time of 1:33.02. And wow, this is quite the soundtrack from IB Karma.
Yeah, I do like hearing the sound of the Ped reward from last night's seed going off in every room. Oh! Oh, right. Okay, I can make the joke now. You've made it first. Yeah, really well played to Scruff. Admittedly, like I said, there were a lot of interesting locations for items, but because of inconveniently convenient deaths or conveniently inconvenient deaths, it didn't actually let Scruff hit or get the knowledge that he needed in sort of the right order and let him sort of skip things and have to do, etc., which works out.
I'm actually kind of waiting for the Aga fight because this music's starting to creep me out. So we have Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna in the waiting room. Let's see if we can get him to join us up here. And we are joined by our winner, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. GG.
GG.
Though, I don't know if you were lurking in chat while you were waiting for the delay to run out, but we determined that Helmasaur has actually taken the series 3-0 and advances.
You know what? It's alright. Helma can go ahead and take it. I hate seeing Helma there. I am so thankful that I had that blue potion because I completely forgot that I did. That's why I was fretting. I was like, please tell me I've got something. And I saw the blue potion, went back to it, and I was like, oh, yes, I live.
Yeah, I actually couldn't remember. I know you'd caught the fairy earlier. I didn't remember if you had anything in your bottles. So, yeah, that was... I mean, that was a sight, but yeah, no.
Did you guys like that one fairy I tried to capture? On,
yes,
I
love that you went butterfly catching and the butterfly said no. That was... If I had the ability to pipe in sad music, I 100% would have, because that was just the saddest thing watching that fairy go off screen for you.
And what do you know, Ivy Karma's having just as good a time on Helma as you did.
Oh, no. You see, I don't know why in the world the bombs were just not wanting to play nice today. Every single enemy was on either the rupee drop pack or the arrow drop pack. No one wanted to give bombs! So I was always straddling like 4 or 5. And yeah, it's doable with Helmasaur, but it's a pain.
I think you did have a few Pog packs out there, so you could have farmed the 8-bomb, but yeah, that would have been a little bit dicey depending on your layouts and everything else.
Oh yeah. With the way that gauntlet was, I was not going to risk trying to farm anything.
No, for sure, absolutely. I actually don't think anything, if I'm remembering right, because I made a couple notes, I don't think that anything in the gauntlet actually was the Pog pack, so...
Oh, Bloomerang on Ped? Interesting.
Yeah, I had to laugh at that. I was hoping it was Boots. I was an inch away from mirroring out of Mire after I got in the crystal, going to desert, seeing what was on the torch, and saying, alright, can Boots logically be on Ped?
Yeah, I guess it depends on desert. Boots could also be in desert.
Oh, also true. Seeing as how nothing was actually necessary aside from just a good time, Boots for just probably just sitting somewhere in the package.
Probably.
Good lord. I was already got a message from my teammates. It's like, you need to watch this VOD.
It was a heck of a race, and as I said early on, you just did really well going to the progression in the early game.
That surprised the heck out of me, honestly. A combination of, like, surprise and anger. Dying just before the mirror, dying just before the hookshot, coming back like 15 to 20 minutes after.
Well, Karma died just before the hammer, so...
Oh, no!
Yeah,
I
so...
was wondering about that.
Yeah, the Karma dying before the hammer meant that he kind of basically full cleared everything. Up until the point, and then of course because you got the flippers, right? So it was the flippers and all of that, and then finally exhausted the resources to get back to hammer, because at the point he had the glove from Dam, and there's a world where he could have just said, I don't want to deal with that, and do the Aga climb. Yeah, so there was certainly a world we didn't, but luckily managed to get back with the flippers, get that. But yeah, he was probably about, I would say, a good 10 minutes behind you in that regard. So.
Goodness gracious, with all those deaths, I was sweating. Climbing up that tower, having all those Helma falls. When I finally got into that Ganon fight and didn't see anything done, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so the funny thing is that Hinox and Atrium got both of you, which, like I said, the Hinox was also probably the MVP for someone's team, just not either of ours.
Dude, that's the next playoff winner there. Helma, Hinox, and Hokupoku. Triple H.
I have nothing more to say. I can leave now. I'm out.
Meanwhile, Karma has made it to Phase 4 of the Ganon fight.
Yeah, and the other thing too that was really unfortunate, I think, Scruff, was that whole the when you did the play, I think the chat and I were both, everyone was like, oh my god, the fake powder to get the fairy, and then the Hinox bopped you. I was like, ooh, that's going to be a little bit dicey just with no magic, and that again did stop you from getting back to that hook shot. That being said, I was kind of curious. The early ice play, like kind of all of the things that you had available, why ice?
The reason behind this one was purely because of what was in the back of Easter. I was originally going to go back there and try and finish it, but less than 5 hearts, stuck on green mail, no invincibility, and a room full of crystal rollers. I was not getting through that. There was no way.
Sure.
So I was thinking, alright, I could go ahead and risk pod, although chances are good I'm going to face something that I can't actually kill. Ice is always going to have something good, but maybe I'll have something good. Lucked out with Compass in the first chest, found his mom. It's like, okay, I can finish this. This is an easy one to go through as long as I don't get really bad placement.
Right. Yeah, and chat, please get your GGs out, ready, and available for Karma taking second place. I think officially a race time of 1:41 on the dot. And the other thing too, and this is, you rushed pendants really aggressively as well.
That one was more of just rushing the stuff that was readily available that I know I could have gone through easily. I've done enough Randomizer that I am comfortable going through Skull Woods and Thieves Town without a problem. I can duck and dodge most anything, and the bosses there are pretty simple as long as I have what's available to kill them. I was just really digging for more hearts and either the cape or the Burna. When I got to the Burna, I was like, all right, I'm good. I don't need anything else, but it could be better. And that's why I continued in the Thieves Town.
I totally agree. Karma will not be joining us for an interview, so you're stuck with us, Scruff.
It's like, no, I'm not stuck with you. You're stuck with me.
You're locked in here with me. Oh, God. What other? So I mean, I guess the other thing too is, what were your sort of other thoughts about the seed? Right, like we've thrown questions to you, but what were you thinking about the mid game?
Mid game, like after I got through dig game, I think I hit go mode, or at least no mode, like around 59 minutes. I was thinking to myself, if you did not have a single death in this seed, and were able to avoid going to Eastern for a double dip. Basically, you were just brave enough to venture without a sword, go through Stumpy and get your Quake at the game and do all this. You could have probably hit go mode around the 40-minute mark. Yeah. And yeah, it would have been Oko for the rest of the game, but that's why I was fretting the whole time. I was thinking, oh geez, Karma could play this off as like a sub 75. If he had no deaths, if he was able to go ahead and go to the places he wanted to,
yeah,
this could have just been an amazingly fast seed. But it's hard in Miser, so of course it has to throw a wrench somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, you went into Eastern, found your sword, and then died Crystal Roller. So Karma actually, like I said, he went to Mini Motor MK first, had the death, then got the Tempered in Eastern, managed to actually get through because he had 4 hearts, right? Mm-hmm. 4 hearts was enough to tank 1 Crystal Roller and make it through.
Nice.
But then, unfortunately, Blind still had his number. And so again, like that was, it was a lot of, because this early game was particularly sparse, I do think, and another thing that I forgot to mention, because of another routing choice that he made, he went to Mini Motor Cave, didn't do Dam. He also went all the way to the back in Hyrule Castle, died, and had to do that again as well. So there were a lot of like just really unfortunate deaths in the early game. I think like on both sides, right? Again, like we've talked about the Hinox and everything else that were just drop in. It's Randomizer, right? Like there is no guarantee because any room, I mean, admittedly, even the very first surprise of the game was Chicken Hut happened to just have 2 thieves and not 4 red guards. It's like this is a mode where managing your resources is make or break, right? And dealing with these particularly interesting situations. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of my whole mindset, was just trying to find enough that I was comfortable in those kind of situations. So 7 hearts with an invincibility item and even a bottle, that was just, it was
Right.
easy from that point on. I just got really unlucky with the early stuff. Those 2 early deaths are like daggers into my heart, but thankfully just my pride.
Drosy, do you have anything else that you want to add, or any questions that you possibly have?
I can't think of anything offhand. I think we covered all the bases. Deaths, misbehaving enemies, more deaths. Hard to catch fairies.
I think I'm gonna have to make that like my new logo, is just a Goomba chasing a fairy.
Hey, what's the deal on the completion screen there at the bottom with the, I guess, thieves or something facing different directions?
That's an excellent question. I have no clue.
I'm only just noticing that, and I can't even think what would normally be in that part of the screen.
I know you only see that in Randomizer, but I don't know why.
I don't know either. But
Oh,
in any
it's-
case, 123 is a great completion rate, of course. The GT Big Key location helped with that. Oh! Windfox, our tracker, your teammate, saying that that's where the end would normally go, and I guess some sprites found their way in there just like during the credits.
Well, there you go.
All right, so Windfox, you want to do a practice race right after this? Just lead up into our game tomorrow?
Yeah, there you go.
My teammates are going to bed. Your teammates can watch us make fun of me the whole time.
Oh my gosh. I am still just floating right now. My head's about 2 feet away from the ceiling. That was just such a crazy, crazy scene. But thank you guys so much for the restream. I appreciate you commenting and tracking. And thank you, Karma, for a fantastic run. That was a heck of a scene.
Yeah, he was anxious about this race, right? And I think this mode is honestly one of our favorites as like a group of us. So I think it's unfortunate that the seed was the way it was, but I feel like I can kind of speak on behalf of him where this was a really good race from both of y'all. So
I'm expecting a lot of fun out of the next 2 races. Hopefully maybe 3, because I just like running in races.
I would like to go to a game 5. Admittedly, because this is the 3 of us as a group, I'd be very, very tantalizingly curious how a game 5 would go. But obviously that is predicated on a lot of things happening between now and then. So, yeah.
Well, good luck to everyone else that's in the playoffs, especially you guys. I can't wait to see what the next couple of races, and I'm gonna hop off.
Well, thanks for joining us in here, and GG again.
Yeah.
And with that, also, please give our runners a follow. They put on a great show for us tonight. As we said, they are both long-standing members of the league. So it's great to have them around. We hope to see much more of them.
A massive thank you to Windfox as well. I mean, I was giving him a bit of a hard time, but it really, trackers in general are sort of the heart, the soul, and really make our lives on comms so much easier. I get to sit here and just spin yarns and shoot the proverbial with you, Drosy, and because of Windfox, my life is that much easier. So thank you.
Indeed. And it's nice to have, 2 teammates on crew today. 2 teammates of the runners, not of each other. Definitely not of each other.
Right. You wouldn't let that happen. You wouldn't let people bully, would you?
But I'm glad we finally got to do comms together.
Yes, you've been saying this for a while, and thank you again for last minute sort of dragging me into doing this. I was going to practice, but honestly, this is a lot of fun because you and I have been talking about this for a while, Now we should drag Sabo in for a TriCast.
Break all the rules. I see.
Just break all the. Look, you are an admin. You can break them. You took me out of Speed Gaming prison by the shackles and said, "Okay, Numpty, you get to talk tonight. Dance puppet pants." So
yes, I dragged you kicking and screaming, I'm sure.
truthfully, yes. But anyway.
Anyway, looking ahead, we don't have channels for any of the matches tomorrow, but we do have some exciting matchups coming to you tomorrow from the Open League. Pitlavan versus Sinhei. Let's see if I can look this up. This is Boing Boing Boingers versus Great Name Pending, their first match. That's going to be cross keys at noon. Then we have the incredibly similar sounding Akayaline versus Alkaline Ace of Reliable Archery Aces versus yet another Bonk at 2. And then looks like we have 2 games at 9, including my co-com and our tracker going up against each other in Pseudo Boots cross keys, as well as Norsk Maddie and Breadkun of Kabuki Hundo Activist Department and Aga's backup dancers facing off in Ambrosia. So keep your eyes on the schedule. We will try to get as many of those restreamed as we can. And be sure to give the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 7 now, a follow, as well as the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4, and you won't miss a restreamed match that way. That was a mouthful.
That was a mouthful.
But I think that's all I needed to say. I'll let you have the last word then.
Again, thank you to our runners for an incredibly fun and delightful race. Thank you for dragging me into this chat. Thank you for playing nice as well. Thank you for playing along with all of the silliness. We really appreciate you all. And with that, I hope that you all have a... Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, please have a lovely evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Hydrate, be safe, and have a great day.